Welcome to another edition of the Ventura Rock Spot. I'm Pam Baumgartner, host of the show. And in case you are new to the program, Ventura Rock Spot highlights artists and bands in and around the 805, as well as the artists and bands who come to the 805 to play. The website, by the way, to find out more about past episodes, because we have, I think, like 22 episodes on the website, is VenturaRockSpot.com. And that reminds me to say hi to the producer, Michelle Hoover, who's behind the scenes. So everyone say hi to Michelle. And she is also our webmaster. So VenturaRockSpot.com. That's also where you go if you would like to be a guest on the program as well. Well, today we have Jody Farrell joining us. Jody's not only a well-known artist, but she has her very own music studio for the past 25 years here in Ventura. And every now and then I run into Jody, and there was one time where I think it was a Carl fundraiser at the beach along the promenade, and I get myself situated on a towel, and I'm sitting there ready for the band to start, and I turn around, and she's sitting right next to me. Do you remember that, Jody?
I do. I do. That was hilarious.
I love seeing you out and about in the community. It's always a pleasure, and it's a pleasure welcoming you to the show today.
And I enjoyed being able to give you a hug then. I wish I could do it now.
I know. Speaking of which, we are still in the middle of a pandemic, and we're all doing the social distancing, and the bands aren't allowed to play right now. They're allowing right now, because it hasn't quite spiked enough, they're still allowing the bands to play, or solo artists and duos to play in venues outside, but that might be changing. So how has this been affecting you personally, Jody, the pandemic?
Well, I haven't gigged since March 15th. It was my last gig over at Winchester's. And so that has definitely affected me personally in my own performance with playing out live. But as you said, they're starting to open that up a little bit. So I do have a gig coming up on December 6th. I believe it's the first Sunday. It's outside. I'll be joined by Gil Julio, and so he'll be playing bass, and I'll be playing guitar, and we're going to be there.
Wait! You're playing with who?
Gil
okay.
Julio? Yeah.
Because you normally play bass when you go out, right?
I normally play bass, yes, but and the guitar player that plays with me is up in Goleta, and so we haven't seen each other since this all began, and it's not like he wants to run down here a whole lot right now,
Right.
So we're just making do with what we can. And then as far as my teaching goes, for probably the first 7 months I had to learn quickly how to use Zoom and get online, and my students have been fabulous and joining me. And so for the first 7 months I worked just strictly teaching online, and then had recently opened up the studio again once I was able to make sure that it was all under protocol, things that needed to be required with ventilation and plexiglass and mask and sterile, So it's wonderful to be back, and so I'm doing Zoom as well as in person. So thank you for asking. Yeah,
of course. So we're going to be having you do a number of songs that you've written.
Okay.
And but to get things warmed up, we're going to go to a video that you have that was taped at the Waterside Restaurant.
Right there, yeah. There I was playing with Jim Rankin.
Okay.
He was playing guitar and I was playing bass on one of my originals called "Broke Into My Heart." Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and roll that, Michelle.
Great.
Wasn't looking for anything or anyone. Then you looked my way and left a scar. Baby, you broke into my heart. You broke into my heart.
Well, that was great. But now, Jody, we're going to have you actually perform that live here.
Great. Okay. Well, not on bass, but here I go on the guitar.
There you go.
Where did you come from? Why did you come? I walked right towards you when I should It's so maddening, it's so insane, but I don't want it to change. Can't believe what's going on. I wanna do right, I don't wanna do wrong. There's something about you, baby, gotta hold on me. And darling, I don't wanna get free. Don't know where you came from, but I'm glad that you came. 'Cause now that you found me, baby, I will never be the same. Never would have believed it, but still here we are. Ever since you broke in my heart, you broke into my heart, and now I don't wanna get free. Not since you broke into my heart.
Oh my goodness, Jody, thank you so much. You have such an amazing voice. When did you first know? When did you know that you had this talent? How old were you?
Oh gosh, I remember walking door to door. I don't know why that was okay, but back then it was. I think I was 5 years old, and I just knocked on the door. Hey, I'll sing you a song. I just have been singing for as long as I could remember. Love, love, love singing. Absolutely love it.
Did your mother or your parents sing to you at all?
My mother would play a lot of music. She wasn't, a big singer. My father was an artist, not by profession, but also painted and did art. So I had that creative environment. But my mother loved Barbra Streisand and sang all the time, more of the show tunes.
Yeah.
So music was definitely in the house, but I think I was the one who drove everybody crazy singing all the time. Yeah.
And when did you start playing in musical instruments?
I think if I can remember correctly, probably around 14. My father actually bought a guitar for himself, and he didn't have much success with it. So he gave it to me, and that's how it started. And I was like, oh, and I learned 3 chords and started writing songs.
Oh my God, really? So, but these 3 chords, C, D, G.
Exactly.
I know them too, but I can't play and I can't sing. Thank God. I'm not even going to try to sing for you, but I just have always surrounded myself with music. And so that's why I do what I do, because I don't have that talent. To be able to share music is what I can do, because I know
Awesome.
what it does for people. But to be able to have the talent like you have, next
Thank you.
lifetime.
Well, I'm so grateful that, during this pandemic that you're still able to do that and get music out, because, sometimes just listening to the music is just so healing and soothing for me during this time. And I think it is for everybody. So we need to sometimes turn off the news and turn off the radio news and just throw on some tunes.
Right. So you're telling me you were like around 14 when you wrote your first song?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it was about?
Yes, it was
Tell me.
about flying away. I want to fly away into the cool, breezy sky. I want to feel a natural high. I want to spread out my arms and glide into the air. You see, it really doesn't matter where. I just want to fly away.
Oh my God, Jody, that's awesome. You are so amazing. You have so much. Did you ever get any formal training, or are you totally self-taught?
No, I did. My first, I did get a little bit of guitar lessons, but didn't have a lot of that opportunity from a single parent because my parents divorced when I was very young, so there wasn't a lot of funds for that. But so it was kind of a late bloomer. So I taught myself guitar, but I started studying actually privately with a graduate from Juilliard, Joel Ewing, who I went and studied sight singing with and private voice. And I also then attended at Pierce College, got my AA there with the emphasis in music, and then went on to UCSB and vocal performance. So that was all my formal training there. And then, of course, after that, I've just continued to study with different teachers and go to different events and stuff. Then became a part of NATS, the National Association of Teachers of Singers. That's a mouthful. Yeah. And would go to different, conferences and things just to keep studying and keep learning and keep listening to different people's points of views and so forth. So I'm always studying. And
that's
even
really
today,
important, because a lot of times an artist can become stagnant and just like, they don't expand. So the more you learn and the more you are able to bring in other people's point of views or music or rhythms or whatever, it expands your knowingness as well.
Absolutely. And I just
don't
ever want to
stop now. I'm sorry, but it's
go ahead.
I was going to
Anyway.
have you perform another song now. The Ocean.
Oh, I'd love that. There's nothing more peaceful than sitting here watching the ocean's waves. I sit here for hours, feel I should be here the rest of my days. The musical sound that the ocean makes fills my mind with dreams. And though at times it seems love is all it takes to understand, the ocean waves, the ocean and the blue sky, the ocean days. There's nothing more peaceful than sitting here watching the waves crash down. I sit here for hours, feel that cool breeze all around. Yeah. Out ahead the island stands, overhead the birds dive down to their prey. Straight ahead the children build castles in the sand and they play all day by the ocean waves, the ocean and that blue sky, the ocean days. Play me a song, let my mind drift along like seashells rolling on the shore. Set my arms free as I swim on your body. Embrace me in your beauty and set me free. Set me free, 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 set me free. By the ocean waves, the ocean and the blue sky, the ocean
Very cool, Jody. So nice. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for doing that. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in North Hollywood.
Okay, and how
North
did you
Hollywood.
land in Ventura?
I'm gonna wet my whistle here. The water there, just water in a fancy glass. I ended up in Ventura because at that time I was attending UCSB, and my husband, who back then was working down in the valley, we decided when we decided to get married, where we're gonna meet. We kind of found a place halfway. And that's how we ended up in Ventura. Lucky us.
Yeah. And
That was 35 years ago, or almost 40 years ago.
Goodness. I've been
Almost 40 years ago.
35 years now, I think.
Yeah.
I can't imagine going anywhere else. It's such a great
I feel, oh, it's beautiful here. It really is. Don't tell anybody. No.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying.
I feel almost like I'm in, this is my home. Even though I grew up in North Hollywood, this Ventura is the longest. This is the place I've lived the longest, and raised my children here, and I'm glad that they had an opportunity to be raised here. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
And it has such a sense of community. It's like, any given time I go out, more times than not, I will run into somebody that I know. And it's like, I think, didn't I see you recently along Pierpont? I was walking my dogs.
Yep, I was heading to the beach to go play some Frisbee. Yeah. It is wonderful. And even after this many years, it still has that charm of being able to just run into people that you know. And,
right.
I'm missing that because I'm not out as often.
Right. We all are.
But, every once in a while I got to get out. And it was so fun running into you. It's always fun running into you.
Like, what? So talking about a sense of community, the thing that really struck me, at first it really didn't, because I was busy with my career doing the radio thing and then being married and raising my daughter. But the last 15 years or so, I really noticed a sense of community with the musicians and how tight-knit they are and how nurturing they are and how warm they are and how they just support each other. Do you find that to be true as well?
I do. I absolutely do. I really feel like everybody wants the best for everybody.
Yeah.
There's not, yeah. So I'm glad that you have that same experience being out there.
And it's not just one genre either. I mean, we have a punk community that supports each other and just, raises each other up, from Nardport to Ojai and everything in between. And then, we have the local artists who are all original artists, and they support and lift each other up. And then you have all the cover bands, and it's really fun to go downtown Ventura, at least it used to be. And I suspect it's going to get back to it someday. But you can go downtown Ventura and go from venue to venue to venue and hear all the different genres of music. And
I can't. I'm sorry to interrupt. I can't agree more in terms of that, and really, like, you go into one venue, if you're not crazy about that particular style, you go into the next venue. I mean, the venues are so supportive also of the music as well.
Right.
So, and there's some really great artists that are living around town. It's wonderful that we have that.
Right. And not just the people that you hear of all the time, but I mean, there's like the artists who are behind the scenes in LA, or even the national touring acts that you don't see them all the time, but they live in and around the community because, as we know, it's a pretty great place to live, and it really does inspire people to be artistic and to bring out what they have.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not, there's still some space here, although I'm seeing an awful lot of apartments going up lately.
I know, a lot of development.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to your history of music, because you have, before you were just playing with Jim and now Gil, as a duo, you had a couple other bands that you were associated with. You had the Front Street Prophets, right? Jody Farrell.
The Front Street Prophets, yes. For about 3.5 years, I was the lead singer for that band and sang blues and funk, and just some great, not the, kind of out of the normal cover tunes. There were a few originals, but mostly they were covers, but they weren't your typical covers that you hear all the time. And I really enjoyed that, learning new songs. And the band was great. Had a great time with them.
Enjoyed. I think people go and they're out there dancing, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the most fun gigs that I scored was Music Under the Stars. That was such a great evening where we performed with that. Yeah, that was fun.
And every band that goes there, people are out there dancing. The dance floor, you have to get in there and try to find yourself.
I can't wait till we can do that again.
I know.
And then I also got involved with Tracoustics, which is a 3-part harmony. That's kind of when I started playing bass, because the three of us, it was Carrie and Mark and I got together and we started playing music, and the harmonies just sounded great, but there were 3 guitars, and I thought, well, okay, I have a bass, let me pick it up and see, I'll try playing the bass. I had no idea how difficult it was to sing and play the bass, but I'm tenacious and I just kept at it.
Because bass is about rhythm, right?
Pardon me?
Bass is about rhythm.
Yeah, well, yes, very much so. And so that was a lot of fun. That was about 5 years with them. And then Jim and I, and it was kind of, I was kind of doing being with each of them. I don't know how I did all this. But then Jim, when I met Jim through Alistair Green, I first asked him, hey, I'd love to get some bass lessons. And then from there, we ended up doing gigs together. And he's a wonderful bass player himself, but he wanted to play more guitar. So having me go out there and play more bass allowed me to get a lot better at the bass and him get better on the guitar. And we just really did a lot of music together, and I look forward to us getting to do some more music again. And but I haven't seen him for so long, and then I'm connected with Gil and said, hey, I could use some more bass lessons. Started studying with him, and then such a great guy, I said, hey, let's do some gigs together. So it's fun to work with many different musicians and learn and grow and just keep being creative together. So that's it. Yeah. Prior to that, I would do a lot of solos like I'm doing now. Go to coffee houses.
Have you been doing anything on Facebook or any of the social media, doing little live sets or anything?
I did in the very beginning. I did post a couple of songs, but it wasn't any concerts, if you will. I just, when this first thing came about, I had to get really, I think it was, all I had to do was in terms of learning about Zoom and teaching, and it just took a lot of my time to get that going and getting that switching over from being at the studio. So most of my energy went to that, and just playing and trying to stay on top of my craft, both on the bass and on the guitar. And trying to write.
Good.
Yeah.
Are you finding some inspiration in this pandemic?
Yes, I am, and it's been an interesting process, because at first I was so sad I actually had a hard time. But we're moving, we're getting through it, and music is healing. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have you perform the next song, "All This Will Disappear."
Okay. Sometimes I question and I wonder why, as time passes and the years go by, I still find myself against the wall, just wanting to escape it all. Oh, how I wonder how long it will be before this cloud passes over me. Until then I'm feeling very sad. I'm so tired of feeling bad. Run away, that's how I feel. I'm just not thinking clear. Close your eyes, just relax. All this will disappear. Every time that it comes around, I conjure thoughts that bring me down. Try as I may to rationalize these thoughts and feelings, they're nothing but lies. It feels so real and it comes on strong. just wanna get out of here and run away. That's how I feel. I'm just not thinking clear. Close your eyes and just relax. All this will disappear. Anybody out there, woman or man? Do you hear what I'm saying? Can you understand? I've been fighting this for many years, and all that I can shed are tears. But I'm determined to change the score and win the battle till there's no more war. Run away, that's how I feel. I'm just not thinking clear. Close your eyes, just relax. All this will disappear. Run away, that's how I feel. I'm just not thinking clear. Close your eyes, just relax. All this will disappear. All this will disappear. All this will disappear. All this will disappear.
Jody Farrell, you are beautiful inside and out, and extraordinary talent that just amazes me. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's really been a pleasure being able to spend some time with you, Pam.
And I can't wait to get that hug from you.
Likewise.
If you'd like to find out more about Jody Farrell and about all the awards she's won, VC Reporter has named her several times Best Music Teacher, and find out about her trips to Taiwan and all the performances she's had there and everything that she has to offer and the upcoming gigs and all that, you can find at jodyfarrell.com. Now, on behalf of Jody Farrell, Michelle Hoover, our producer, GWC Productions, Our Ventura, and of course, VenturaRocks.com, I'm Pam Baumgartner. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you next time.